Thank you, drummers. That was wonderful. Big hand up for the drummers. Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and those of you who don't know stuff to find, can you come in a little closer? Now we can all be nice and cozy. Okay, welcome. My name's Sid. I'm one of the Green Councillors, one of the 15 Green Councillors in the Forest. 15! I see some of my other colleagues here, and some county councillors as well, 4 of those. So, right, beautiful sun, beautiful day, and beautiful time for a local government election in May. Okay. Now, if you haven't got this in your diary, 1st of May, get out and vote. We're going to take, it's not going to be a political speech, but we're actually going to take Gloucestershire County Council. So just don't tell anybody yet. Right, we have a very special guest here today to come and help us launch our wonderful campaign. Co-leader of the Green Party of England and Wales. I'm not sure if you're leader of Bristol Council, you're not, are you? But
I'm an MP.
Pretty up there. Oh yes, she's an MP. Do you know, after so many years of only having one MP, now we've got 4. You know, you just sort of almost forget. But I'd like you to give a very, very warm and luscious big welcome to Carla Denyer, MP. Thank you.
I have this problem often. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, friends. That's a very beautiful and very powerful event, and I understand that this is something that happens every week. So that's really, really amazing. Your silence in the vigil and then the beautiful drumming really spoke loudly. So thank you to all of you for being here, for bearing witness, and for all that all of you have been doing to ensure that the ongoing human rights catastrophe in Palestine is staying at the top of everyone's minds here in Coleford. That's really important. Thank you. Nearly a year and a half from the start of the most recent period, it's worth emphasising, of untold violence and destruction in Palestine, we have yet to see the true end in sight. In January there was a ceasefire, but what have we seen since? The withholding of humanitarian aid, electricity to 2 million people cut off, at least 100 people killed even during the ceasefire, and reported violations of the ceasefire and of international human rights. This is not peace. We do not yet have the just and lasting peace that we need to see. In Gaza, an appalling 92% of homes are now gone. And people are still starving. Families are still separated. And just this week, a UN report stated that Israel's systematic attacks on women's health care in Gaza amounted to genocidal acts, and found that Israeli security forces have used sexual violence as a weapon of war. This is not just a conflict, this is genocide. And I and we in the Green Party have unequivocally condemned the wildly disproportionate acts of violence by the Israeli government against Gaza and against the Palestinian people. We know that these atrocities do not constitute an even-sided conflict. The Greens recognise the systematic actions of the Israeli government as acts of genocide and of apartheid. Shame on Trump for his blatant advocacy of ethnic cleansing of the people living in Gaza. And shame on the UK government for continuing to provide weapons that they know are being used so brazenly to break international law. We Green MPs will continue to do all we can in Parliament to push the government to think again. And as we gathered in silence and then in a cacophony of music here in Coleford today, we know that across the world, millions of people are joined together in calling for an end to the occupation, an end to the violence, and for a free, self-determined Palestine. So I know that you all won't stop speaking up here in Coleford, and we Greens won't stop speaking up and taking action in Parliament and across the country until we see a just and lasting peace. Thank you all.
Thank you, Carla. Absolutely. Some of us have been out here, well, I don't know, for a year and a half now on a vigil for Palestine. I'm not going to make a political speech. Sorry, I just can't help myself, but the Greens, we were unequivocally the only party to actually say no. But I'm not sure the procedures now. I'm not sure what's going to happen. But I'm very happy to introduce somebody else who wants to come and speak. Ah, yes. I obviously missed the memo. Okay, right. Well, one by one, in no uncertain, order of preference, I'd like to introduce you to the beautiful candidates, or at least our target candidates, anyway. Shall we have, let's see, how about Johnathan? Is he out there? Johnathan, candidate for Lydney. Welcome, Johnathan. I'm sure you'd like a couple words to say hello.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Absolutely amazing to be here, and it's lush to see you all. As Sid was saying, I'm going to be standing in Lydney this year. It's been a tough decision. For those of you who know me, you'll know that I used to be a teacher. I got 4 little kids, and so it's really hard sometimes to sort of pull yourself away from that. But I actually feel that I have to, and I feel that I have to, and I'm going to go grand on this. I honestly do feel that we are standing against a tide of right-wing authoritarianism. You don't see it just growing in Britain, you see it growing across the Western world and beyond. And all that, it feels something that you can't play a part in, or maybe something that just exists out there, or in cyberspace. But actually, the fight against it takes place all across the country, all across the districts, across the different divisions, and I feel I didn't really have a choice other than to play a small part in that endeavour. So that's what I've decided to do, putting myself forward on May the 1st, and it's absolutely a fight worth having, and it isn't just about making big speeches, making grand overarching promises. It's about doing things on the day-to-day that actually improve people's lives and restore faith in democracy, and make people believe that you don't have to vote for the extremes, that you can vote for people who do listen, who do talk your language, and who try to make a difference all of the time with the things they say and the actions that they do. And that's what I'll be taking forward after the May the 1st. Thank you very much.
Hey, that was good, wasn't it? A little bit of politics, that's what we're here for. All right, I'm looking around at the other candidates, seeing if anyone, you're all right for next? Right, here we go. Well rehearsed. I'd like to introduce you now to, she's been an activist, a green activist for so long now, mainly in the composting field, but she's been kicking ass at Shire Hall. I was so delighted when she got elected 4 years ago by 17 votes. This is why every one of you out there, if you're thinking of voting Green, do not think, oh, it's raining, I'm not going to bother. Get out there. For goodness sake. 17 votes. I'd like to introduce you to Beki Hoyland. Thank you.
Hello. I don't know if I can follow Johnathan or Carla. Public speaking isn't really what I'm very good at, but what I have really enjoyed over the last 4 years of being a councillor, see, I told you I wasn't very good at this thing, is I've enjoyed working as a team of green councillors at the county councillor, and being a corporate parent is one of the things that I focused on. So when I stepped into the role, I had no idea that that was going to be part of my role, and that is so important, that we're making sure that children and families across the Forest of Dean and Gloucestershire get all the support right at the start of their journey. And I think the sort of social justice is something that is just an absolute core part of being a Green, as well as the environmental justice. So that's what I will hopefully be able to carry on with by standing for election on the 1st of May in Blakeney and Bream, the heart of the forest. Heart of the forest, that's where I'm going to be standing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and she will get re-elected or else. Okay. That sounded a bit ominous, a bit threatening, didn't it? Okay. I'd like to introduce you now to... sorry. Cough away from the mic. Right. This guy has been around local government for at least 30 years. I was still in shorts when he started doing this. 42? Gee. There's nothing to be scoffed at, you know. He does deserve something, if not some serious counselling. This guy's been around a long, long time in another party before, but hey ho, you know, people do see the light and they do join us eventually. There's a lot of Labour people out in the wilderness at the moment, left their party because they've out-Thatchered Thatcher, and so some of them are joining us. Anyway, back to our point. He's currently parish chair. He's on the district council, and hopefully he will, with a good campaign, be county councillor for Coleford. So, Dave Wheeler, come on down.
Well, thank you, Sid. I'm even worse at public speaking than Beki suggests she is. It's just absolutely fantastic to see you all here in Coleford. Coleford is clearly the centre of political activity in the Forest of Dean, at least to today. We've been starting to campaign in the Coleford area. We've done some surveying, etc., etc. What we know above all else is the one thing that people want in Coleford and the Forest of Dean is an end to potholes. It's an absolute, I will guarantee you 90% of people want those potholes filled, and they want them to stay filled. Now that's terribly local, but that's what it's all about really. And the other thing that people want to see is services locally in the Forest of Dean, not all the services provided by the County Council in Gloucester. Because you will notice, well you won't, because I'm telling you at the moment, but there's a bus stop over there, and there's a bus, and it'll take you to Gloucester. Beki, how long does it take to Gloucester?
An hour and a half.
Yes, an hour and a half there, and then an hour and a half back. So if you want to access the services for Gloucestershire in Gloucester, you've got a day's trip. And I don't think it's a sort of holiday trip, it's a trip to go and find essential services. We need to see essential services out in the Forest of Dean, out in places like Coleford and Lydney and Cinderford. And that's my main message to the electorate in Coleford. I will endeavour to get more and more services to you locally so that you can access them. Thank you very much.
Thank you there, Dave. All right, our final target candidate has been he was the first Green councillor in the Forest of Dean back in 2015. Gosh, 10 years. He doesn't look a day older. He looks at least 25 years older. But yeah, like I say, first Green councillor in the Forest of Dean. Probably chair of several parish councils, and really introduced the climate emergency motion to council, which is intrinsically part of the council's policy now. Well, without further waffling, I'd really like to introduce my friend and colleague, Chris McFarling.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Carla, for coming along and supporting our campaign. Greens in power punch well above their weight. And you've got to remember that. It's not only what goes on at the doorstep and in the campaigns outside, it's what goes on in those council meetings and also what goes on behind the scenes. Greens at County Council, we've had 4 Greens, and Through our amendments to budgets, we managed to get over £500,000 directed towards green activities, which support electric bikes, biodiversity officers. Sorry about that, Beki. Natural flood management. All these are win-wins. Good for the economy, good for society, and good for the environment. Obviously, as a naturalist and a natural history filmmaker, I've tended to concentrate on the natural environment and the climate. Both are in emergencies. If we actually think about it, in the River Wye, there is a probability that the last salmon will swim up the Wye in 2030 or before. That is a parlous state of that state of affairs should never exist, but it does. And so, as part of my campaigning, I will try to protect and recover the Wye and the Severn as well as I can do. I'm standing in the Sedbury division, which is the south of the forest. Most of the people know me there because I've stood before. I'm seeking re-election. I would do my damnedest to make sure that Sedbury and the people of Sedbury benefit and live a better life, but acknowledging that the health of the environment is as important to the health of the people as it ever was, and just getting that message across. So there we go. I'm hoping to win the seat, obviously, and join other colleagues in the County Council, and hopefully get the power back where it belongs. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Excellent. Thank you all, the four candidates. I want to, before we all disperse, well, we're not going to disperse, we're going to sidle on over to the main place in a moment. I'd just like to thank a few people. She wants to speak? Yeah. I'm there. I guess she can speak. I've never heard her bloody speak, but I wonder what she'd say if she could speak. Clean up the bloody rivers. Okay, I'd like to thank she's not the Green Goddess, because that obviously that used to be Caroline Lucas. The Goddess of the Wye. Thank you. Big hand for the Goddess of the Wye. Oh, isn't she beautiful? She can dance too. I also want to thank those drummers over there. Hey! I mean, when they're around, I just can't stop my feet from moving. But there you go. Thank you for turning out. I want to thank you guys for all turning out, and I want to thank the people who organised this for organising this, and certainly last and not least, our wonderful co-leader here. All right. Thank you all very much. Over to the main place for Q&A and some nibbles and things. All right. Thank you. Bye.